it's Jessica here from A Cherry on Top, and today I am creating a scrapbook layout, and I'm starting with these Midnight Moths stamps and die set. I love these moths, and I had a great idea for a layout with them. I want to create like a fairy tale mystical sort of vibe where I'll have a darker background and these moths look like they're glowing from the page. So to do this, I'm starting with some watercolor paper because I'm going to watercolor these moths, and I am stamping them using the Altenew stamp wheel and some Catherine Pooler Midnight ink. I'm choosing to use Midnight, one because I love this ink, and then also because I can use it for embossing powder, so that's what I'm sprinkling on it, is some fine clear embossing powder. And I like to do this step just because when I watercolor, the paint will stay in the lines a bit better and easier, and also the black stays nice and vibrant. So after I have that all set, I'm going to grab some pan watercolors, and usually when I am starting with watercolors and I know that I want to use multiple colors, I'll take a spray bottle and just mist it across all of my paints, and that way they're just ready to use when I'm ready to use them. And then I also go in with a wet paintbrush to pick up paint, and then I just get to painting. These were a lot of fun because there are so many small little details, and I tried to go into all of the details and add a bit of a gradient, and you can see all the fun colors that I've got going on here. Now I am die cutting them all out. I love the look of a die cut shape like this. Here's my photos. They're pictures of me at the Renaissance Festival. If you've ever been to one, you know it's just a magical, whimsical feel, so I think these moths are perfect for it. I put the moths where I'll want them to go, and then I just drew a little circle behind them so I could remember where I'm going to put them, because now I'm going to go into ink blending. So I'm using the scattered straw distress oxide as my center of where each moth will go, and it's sort of like a moth to the flame type of feel where each moth is, it's a bit lighter. And this is one of those trust the process moments because it's a lot of ink blending and a lot of layering, so I just kept with it. I have some larger blending brushes that were really helpful for this, and I just kept loading on the pigment and kept blending them in and tried not to get too heavy-handed with the blending. The blue color that I'm using is Uncharted Mariner, which is one of my all-time favorite colors. I think it's so beautiful, and I'm glad that I could use it in such a big way on this page. And then I'll also go in with some black shadow just to add a little bit more darkness. So as you can see, I'm just going around and continuing to add the layers, and each layer just adds more and more. I was a little bit worried at first because yellow and blue make green, and I didn't want these random green spots on my page, but it turned out not doing that too much. I tried to keep it more separate, and then also I wasn't too worried about it being perfect because I knew I was still going to add more to this page, and even though it could look kind of weird at this point, once I'm done with it, it'll be fine. You can see in the top right of this page, I got a big drip of water on it, so I just tried to cover it as best I could, and then we're just continuing. So it just goes to show that even though mistakes happen, you just continue and you don't even notice when the page is done. I added some gold shimmery splatters to the background, and now you can kind of see how it's coming together. I die cut all of these viney leaves out, and I tried to keep them on this watercolor paper just to keep the watercoloring of them a bit easier. And I'm layering up a bunch of the different shades of green. I wanted these pieces to be pretty vibrant, so I went over them multiple times and even added some shimmer. So then you can see how pretty all of these are coming together. Whenever I don't know what embellishment I should add next, I just go for leaves or flowers. So for this layout, I went for these leaves. Once this page had completely dried, now I am taking all of the leaves out, and then I'll get ready to put them on my layout. So you can see how pretty they are. I love them. I am putting them mostly around the base of my photos and clustering them mostly in the bottom left corner, but you can see how it just makes a nice frame for them and an extra little something. Next, I wanted to add a title, and I still really wanted to keep with the Renaissance Festival medieval times look, so I decided to do some hand lettering in this like Old English style calligraphy, and I am pretty proud of myself because I actually did this all freehand and in the moment, and it's cool to see how all of my calligraphy practicing has been paying off. I put a strip of washi tape as my marker so I could keep everything nice and straight, and then I am painting with an Altenew paintbrush and just regular white acrylic paint. I ended up having to go over it a couple times because the white soaked up some of the blue ink from the background. So after a couple coats of tracing over my letters, I was happy enough with them. And then you'll also see how I wanted them to stand out a little bit more, so I'm going to go in with a fine liner pen and give it a little bit of shadowing. And this is just to help make it pop a little bit more and stand out from the background. It is a more subtle title, but I'm pretty happy with it. My final step for this page is to add some gold sequins around, and I think this really helped bring the whole page together. Thanks for watching, and I hope this has inspired you to either try out some ink blending, try out some hand lettering, maybe a little watercoloring, and we'll see you again next time.